Lunch with Carole. This is something we do every week. It's a Facebook Live where I enjoy being able to introduce you to people who are in our community that you may not know about, people who are uplifting others, who are motivating, inspiring, and really making our area better. And that's what I love about being able to do this. And I have a wonderful guest this afternoon, Dr. Michele Gee. She is Dean of a College of Business at UW-Parkside. And Dr. Gee, I think it's wonderful to know that not only are you dean of the college, but you've had to work very hard to get there because it hasn't been an easy road. First of all, can you tell me some of the challenges that you've had to face? Because, getting your doctorate is hard enough.
Yes, indeed. And I recall that when I earned my doctorate, at that time there was a news article in one of the journals for higher education. And it was saying that in the entire country at that time, there were only 6 African American graduates in business with their doctorate. And I can tell you that in my lifetime, which has now spanned decades, plural, that indeed I've been oftentimes, sometimes I should put it, the only African American in the room, and actually it is often. All right, and that's been in corporate America when I worked in corporate America before I came back into academe, and so I'm kind of used to being that voice at the table that is rather unique and offers a different kind of perspective. And so I've learned to deal with this all my life. And my parents before me were trailblazers as well. And I, as many African Americans, was raised to know that we needed to be twice as good. All right, that we needed to work twice as hard, that we had to give, much more effort just to have a seat at the table. And so, indeed, that's what I've done, all my life, whether it was in academe as a student or now as a scholar and an administrator. And also when I was in, corporate America as well, I had, customers with IBM and AT&T who had never really encountered an African American at my level and doing what I was doing, selling them multi-million dollar, computer systems or whatever the product or service that they might need.
So you were the person who was, always sort of like on the outside looking in, but you're learning a lot. And, the best part about, I think sometimes being a minority is the fact that you have to incorporate all sorts of different ideas and people into your life. You have to be able to maneuver different levels and different societies. And I think that's very good. Any advice you would give to other people, Dr. Gee, about, who might be having a hard time and saying, well, I'm not able to fit in? Any advice you can share at all this afternoon?
So I would say, first of all, always believe in yourself. All right. And some people would say, like, don't believe the hype, so to speak, which could be negative or positive. That you need to know who you are and what you have to contribute and believe that you can. And I think that's very, very important. I think that, for example, our president, Obama, who is now our former president, but when he was first running, I think that Yes, I Can resonated with so many people. And not only African Americans, but I would say especially because we could look and see, yes, I can. And I think we have to believe that and to remember that. And it can almost become like a mantra, all right, where we just say it in our head to remind ourselves. Another thing I would say is perseverance. It is so important to keep going. And as bad as one day might be, the next day could be that much more in a positive vein. And that don't give up, persevere. And that goes along with believing in yourself and believing that you can. And not listening to the chatter that might be surrounding you that might say, well, no, you don't fit, or you don't belong, or you don't look like us, or you don't, think everything that we think. And so you have to listen to your own inner voice, whatever you call that. All right. Follow your instincts. Some people call it, good luck. Some people just call it whatever, but listen to yourself. All right. Because you basically, I think, know what's right for you and what is really fitting about you. So you're not listening to the external voices. And so I think that that's very important. And then being resilient, we talk a lot about that these days because that pandemic, I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah.
All right, something like that would occur. And then we've got to go in lockdown and then we're wearing masks. I mean, like, what on earth? And literally, it was global. It was like occurring on the planet Earth. So, be that as it may, being resilient is real important. Getting a balance in life. Your life is not all the work and the study that's very important. That's what you do, but you have to have your own means of your own sanity, shall I say? All right, how to have your inner peace, maintain equilibrium. And that could be reading, traveling, getting together with friends, playing sports, having a significant other and doing things. I mean, whatever it is for the individual, they need to do. All right, so that you can have that kind of balance in life. That's partly with the burnout that's being talked about in terms of the pandemic and a number of people who are still working at home. It's like, where does the line of separation between your family and your personal life and your work life begin, especially if you got your computer sitting in the kitchen, all right, or where you pass by it all the time, and it's like, well, when does it stop? So I
Yes.
think it's important to keep things in perspective.
You are such good advice, so important because I think we are all guilty. I am guilty of just saying, of cutting it off and
Mhm.
finding the other part of your life. That is so important. And those positive affirmations. Now, Dr. G, you're at UW-Parkside. In case you're just joining us, this is Lunch with Carole. This is Dr. Michele Gee. She is the Dean of the College of Business at UW-Parkside. And I imagine that there's a lot of exciting things happening right now at the college that you could share with us, Dr.
Oh,
G.
absolutely. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I'm actually the dean for the College of Business, Economics, and
And
Computing.
computers. Yeah, I just
And
I
that
just
is,
shortened it for TV because
yes.
it's
And
easier. We're
so
used to shortening things. That's true.
I understand. And as people are watching or when the video is replayed, I can guarantee you I will have colleagues and some of my faculty who are saying, what happened to the other departments? So,
Yes.
yes, we have a very large business department, we have very large computer science department, and we have economics. In all of our departments, there are very exciting things that are going on. Our College of Business, Economics, and Computing it's a very popular major among the students and applicants who are looking for universities to attend. We have majors that are in high demand, and there's a good return on investment in terms of the jobs that they're able to obtain once they have completed their degree. And in several of our majors, even before they complete the degree, they can have very successful paid internships and or positions already. And so, for example, in the Department of Business, we have some degree completion programs. So if there are listeners that had started their degree but didn't complete it, we have some special degree completion programs. One of them is allows you, we call it, goes by the acronym BUSO, BUSO. And what it does is it allows you to finish your business degree totally online.
Um,
Yes, and so that works for a lot of working adults. That works for them very well, and who need more flexibility. Then we have, and speaking of flexibility, we have a program called Flex, FLEX, called Flex, which is competency based. So when people have experiences, work experiences, etc., they can work with our faculty, and they also have like independent projects that they can complete, and they can complete or finish their business degree doing it that way as well. And then of course we have classes that are right here on campus face to face, and in our in-person full-time program as well as part-time program. A lot of people are part-time, you take it step
yeah.
by step. All right, that we have a wide array of our classes that are offered at night, so that even if people are working during the day, all right, that they can take some classes that are at night. So this combination of different delivery formats for their education, different ways that people can complete it, allows for a wide latitude, if you will, of ways where people can complete their degree. And I must tell you this, for people who already have a college degree from an accredited 4-year institution, we also have an online MBA program as well as face to
Oh, wow.
face. And the online MBA program just started in 2018, and we have approximately 500 students in the MBA program already who are totally online. And this is what
Amazing.
they choose. There are times that I hear people say, well, I think I'd love to be in the classroom, and sitting right next to, my fellow students and talking with the professor, but my job doesn't allow it, or my family
Yes, it's hard.
responsibility, or the combination. So they opt to do it online. And at the University of Wisconsin-Parkside, in our Department of Business, we are AACSB International accredited, which is only about the top 30% or so of business schools in the country,
Really?
and among the top 3 to 5% on the planet, globally, worldwide. And so we have very high standards, and we provide an excellent education. We have faculty that are just unbelievable. The experiences that they bring to the classroom, and because UW-Parkside is a smaller institution, one of the smallest in the University of Wisconsin system, we tend to have smaller class sizes. So our students get to be known by the professors. We develop these kinds of interactions and these
It's
professional
nice.
working relationships, so they're not just a number or taught by a teaching assistant. They're taught by the professor, and they interact with the professor. And so that, works out quite well too.
Yeah, it makes learning so much better. And also, you're obviously a cheerleader for lifelong learning, because I think we can never stop learning and growing, and I think that's so important. You're such a motivator, such an inspiration. I just love talking to you. We can
Well,
listen to
thank
you
you
all
so
day.
much. Well, so I have to tell you, Carole, I've watched you for years and years and years, and always been very proud of you as well. And I know in many respects you're a trailblazer. And this is something that we need to cherish and applaud each other, because that's the other thing, being supportive of one another.
Yes.
There are still areas in which, as not just coming from an African American perspective, or even a person of color perspective, but even gender. I have a computer scientist, a woman who was one of the first in computer science, who's still the full-time, tenured woman faculty member in computer science, and she's a cybersecurity expert. And of course, cybersecurity is big, and that's right here at UW-Parkside. And
Wow.
so again, we have some wonderful things that are happening. In fact, I'm glad that evidently at the moment our construction workers are at lunch, and I'm knocking on wood here that they stay
Can't
there
hear
for a few more minutes, because I was concerned you'd hear all the background noise. We're literally in the College of Business, Economics, and Computing, and especially in the Department of Business, but computer science as well, that has this tremendous growth that's going on. We're literally bursting at the seams, and we had to figure out, well, I've just hired several more faculty members, actually in all three colleges, business, economics, and computing, but I've got to find place to put them. I mean, where are their offices? So now we're looking at better utilization of the space that we have, and carving out additional offices, just so that when we get these new people who are coming online pretty quickly, all right, they'll start in the summer preparing, et cetera. And summer for us, the spring semester is over mid-May. We have these, people that are going to graduate. And I should mention as well that in my college, that we have the largest major, which is the business undergraduate major, which is the business management degree. And then we also have the largest graduate program, which is the MBA degree. And we span continents. We have a lot of international students that are in all three of our departments, and especially in business and in computer science. So we're global, we're cross-cultural. We're reaching all kinds of target markets, and we want to. That's my business and my marketing background coming in. So bear with me
We
here.
have to have that in business.
Oh yes, Oh yes. And so we're very excited. We have some very innovative programs. We have lots of different ways that students can complete their degrees. We have lots of different majors for them to select from. We are adding more concentrations and specializations. Even as we speak, we're going through approval process for more. So we have everything, for example, in business from the standard marketing and accounting, and management overall to project management and data analytics. And at the MBA level as well, they can specialize in supply chain management. Supply chain
Oh,
is a
big
huge
deal
concern.
today. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Well, Dr. Michele Gee, you are just a wealth of information, and anyone thinking about entering the world of business or majoring in business at all, hey, UW-Parkside sounds like it's got everything. It's got everything you might need if you're interested. I appreciate you being with me for lunch with Carole. And you know what? One of the best things about talking to people like yourself is I think some of us forget all of the wonderful people that make up our community, all of the different fabric of talent, and to be able to share different sides of life that maybe people haven't thought about. So, Dr. G, thank you so much. We
Oh,
appreciate it.
absolutely.
A
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me.
Yes, and thank you. And thank you, all of our guests joining us for this Facebook Live Lunch with Carole. We will be here next week, 12:30 every Wednesday, and you'll meet another motivating, inspiring guest. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. G. Excellent. You know
Oh,
what?
thank you.
I love hearing all of those different things, about all the different flexibility of learning in programs, because one of my dreams is to finish my master's. I did everything but the thesis because I got an
Oh,
anchor job. So that's something that I need to do as
were you
well.
working on an MBA or something else?
Not an MBA. I was working on a master's in communications, and this was
Oh,
1,000 years ago, Dr. G, back in the '80s. But I do.
oh.
One of my dreams is to go back to school and to do that. So
But I want you to know, I mean, sincerely, I have watched you, and we're not live now, right?
I don't. I hope not. Jackson, we're not live, are we? Are we still live?